Want to know how to make the most of the month's energy and avoid the pitfalls? Welcome to the Cosmic Download with astrologer Simone Butler and intuitive Anna Francesca Celestino.
Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Simone.
Welcome to the Cosmic Download for May 2017. Well, Simone, we survived April with all of those retrogrades. My gosh, everybody I talked to was just everything, reviewing, redoing, reconsidering. It was a major month.
Yes, indeed.
So let's see what we have in store for this month. So I guess I'll just jump in here and get things started. What I'm getting is the first part of May, you're going to love this, is summer vacation. It's going to feel like the old days when we had our summer vacations. You didn't have anything to do. We'd I remember laying out on the grass, looking up at the sun, just hanging out. It's going to feel slow and easy and light and fun. It's going to be an amazing time to rest and catch your breath. I don't know if astrologically, but to me, all the planets are aligning for us to just take a break. I think what's happening actually is that everything is finally, we had all these retrogrades and everything's starting to move forward. So instead of walking into the wind, we're going to feel that wind behind our back. And so it's not just about resting, it's about actually that we're starting to feel some momentum. We're starting to feel some forward movement. But don't wear yourself out just because things are getting easier and going forward. Allow yourself to just be carried forward a little bit on that nice summer breeze. And then around the 10th of the month, what I'm seeing is that life is going to become a little bit less fluid. It may feel like you're walking through mud and your boots are kind of getting stuck in the mud. I know that sounds a little unpleasant, but actually what I think is that it's kind of a coagulating energy. We're going to start to feel like we actually can get some traction. So that sticking actually is a good thing. We're really kind of being able to plant our feet and get ourselves moving in the direction that we want to go. And then speaking of that, a little bit later in the month, what I'm seeing is that life is really going to get behind anything that's life-sustaining, anything that's life-giving. So if you've been really longing to make a contribution, to be healthier, to be more compassionate, to do more interesting work, anything that is life-giving, this energy is going to get behind and it's going to stick. You know, I know everybody's been trying to kind of get some traction for a while now, but I really think we're in a phase where we're going to see things actually moving forward. And then I want to just talk about one other energy that I'm seeing for this month, very late in the month, maybe around the 23rd or so. There's going to be a really amazing opportunity to address loss and grief. And I know you're saying, oh gosh, haven't we been through enough? Do we really have to go into loss and grief now? But in the coaching work that I do where people are trying to change their lives, what I've been seeing over and over again is that there is some sort of unresolved grief from the past that's holding them back. You know, we can't move forward because we just can't let go of something painful, somebody we lost, an experience that was hard to let go of, this unresolved grief. And it's not an awful thing to look at. I mean, grief is also, it's a way of loving. So there's sort of a grace period that we're going to have toward the end of the month where looking at this loss and grief is going to be less painful than it normally would be. What I would suggest for this month is to, all through the month, write down things, maybe get a bowl, put it, write down on a piece of paper, things that you feel like you've lost, you've had to let go of, that you miss, that you remember fondly, anything from the past that's a part of your life now that maybe needs to be released. Put it in the bowl, and by the end of the month, Simone's going to talk a little bit about planting some things. Maybe that you take that paper and you put it in the ground where you're going to plant something new. This is a really good opportunity. Don't miss it. Make the most of this grace period that we have coming up. And I think that's it for me. Go ahead, Simone.
Okay. Well, yes, you mentioned that the planets are going forward, at least Venus and Mercury, who were the two planets we were really dealing with most in April as far as the backward motion, which often promotes delays or feeling like things are stuck in some way. So Mercury goes forward officially on the 3rd of May, although we are currently in what's called the Mercury Storm. That's the week prior to the planet going direct, and then the week after. And basically, the storm just means that our minds are moving kind of slowly. Anna and I were talking about this earlier. We both feel kind of foggy-headed. So especially if you're strongly ruled by Mercury, if you have a lot of Virgo or Gemini in your chart, you may feel like you just can't quite get the clarity that you're seeking. But nonetheless, that really promotes what we were saying about resting and relaxing and not trying to force yourself in the early part of May to do anything except enjoy this beautiful Taurus time frame that we're in right now. I love the season of Taurus. Taurus is such a beautiful energy. It rules the earth. I just planted a beautiful ground cover in my front yard called Diamondia. Anything you do in your front yard, by the way, in terms of feng shui, is really good for your career. I know people who have made improvements, landscaping improvements to the front yard, and boom, suddenly their careers really take off. So that's a powerful thing that you could do this month to make the most of the Taurus energy, and I would do it sometime between now and the full moon. So I want to talk about the full moon of May 10th next, which is the manifestation full moon of the year. The sun is in Taurus, earthy, grounded Taurus, and the moon is in Scorpio. And you put those two energies together, and it's possible to really manifest things, particularly wealth on some level, whether wealth is well-being or money or love or whatever it is you're looking to create. So at that full moon, I would really recommend creating either a wealth altar of some sort or getting a beautiful new plant or actually planting in your yard, like I did, and like Anna suggested about maybe writing down what it is you're hoping to manifest and or perhaps to let go of. Burying things is a very Taurus thing to do. So that's what I'm recommending. But then the final thing I want to mention is this period around May 25th, because the pace is really going to pick up even after the 20th when the sun moves into Gemini. Mars is already in Gemini, so there's already this feeling of like, oh boy, we got to get on with it. But that's really going to intensify with that new moon when the sun and moon are both in Gemini on the 25th. And also on that day, Venus, which is currently moving through Aries, the warrior energy, where it's been actually since March, more or less. It briefly dipped back into Pisces, but it's back in Aries now, and it's going to be squaring Pluto at the new moon on the 25th, which is a very intense energy and relates to what Anna was saying about grief. Anna, it's like you're the third or fourth person I've heard mention recently that grief is love, that at its essence that's really what it is. So that seems to be in the cultural zeitgeist right now, that concept that grief is actually a really beautiful thing and not something to be suppressed or, not one of the evil emotions. Pluto is a kind of a death and a rebirth energy, and so Venus in Aries squaring Pluto may indeed demand a loss, a letting go on some level. I'm also seeing this as kind of a call to arms or a call to action, especially in terms of speaking out, because Gemini is all about speaking your piece and standing up for yourself or standing up for those who can't speak out for themselves. So that new moon, I think we're going to see a lot in the news of people making big statements, incendiary words, for better or for worse, right? So you want to be careful not to come on too strong in your personal life at that time, but it's also a time to really take a stand for what you believe in.
Wow. Okay. Simone and I are going to make an extra effort this month to update our Cosmic Download page on Facebook with reminders about what's going on this month because, boy, there's a lot moving. If we stay on top of it, we can really make the most of all of this. So I think we've done it. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I hope you have a great month. I hope you get some traction. I hope you get some rest, and we'll see you in June.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Subscribe now to be in the know and stay in the flow.